Hi, Samuel Prather here, founder of Go Music and Reason user since 2003. What I wanted to do today was give a little bit of insight into the way that I mix. Now, mixing is such a touchy topic. Everybody has their own way to do it, and all the people that teach it in a different way. So you can take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. But if you're somebody who's made tracks before in Reason, only to find that you can't get it through that mix and mastering process sounding as good and as impactful as it was when you first put it together, then check this video out. There might be something here that can help you. So there's a couple things that go without saying. One is that you can't fix in the mix something that you didn't record well. There are some things that you can do, for example, to remove background noise, maybe EQ something a little bit, but understand the better that you get it recorded, then the better it's going to be when it's time to mix. The second thing that I want you to understand about mixing is that there are several parts of mixing that you have to be aware of in order to get a good mix. The third thing that I want you to understand is that most of the mastering and loudness comes from the mix, not the master. If you do a good mix, then a great master is easy to achieve. It's almost impossible to get a good, loud commercial master if you botched the mix. What I'm going to show you today is a couple different devices that I use on each channel to mix better and keep things organized. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to the computer and show you my default mixing template. So I'm gonna start out here with a blank audio track and just open that up for you so you can see how that works. I can show the programmer, and then also I can show the insert effects like so. Now I have a couple things in line in a specific order. I just want to explain what they are so that you can use these things on your own recordings. I'm going to go ahead and hit tab so you can see how it's routed. We're going from the out to the in on my mixer. I'm going from the left out. Notice I'm not going through the send and return. I'm going out of the main, out of this line 6 mixer. And you can follow that chain all the way down to the last device. And that last device comes back into the FX return on the combi for that channel. And even though I usually only use this template for a mono mix channel, it's helpful to have the flexibility to do it another way. You can make it a stereo mix channel just by connecting both the left and right all the way through the chain. Okay, so let's talk about the individual devices here. The first thing in my chain is my line mixer. If for whatever reason I need to bring more than one channel in, I can split things off, etc., etc. The next channel that it's running into is my noise reduction. That noise reduction is going to save the day if you have great recordings that just so happen to be done in non-optimal situations. So if you have like the AC on or maybe some light noise in the background because you recorded at home, the denoiser can take care of that, and I want that to happen before I do any of the cleaning with my EQ. You'll notice below that I have 2 instances of the MClass equalizer. This is so that I can get 4 bands of EQ when I'm cleaning my tracks. What I mean by that is I'm going to take a frequency, turn the gain all the way up, and then scrub. And I'm looking for any frequency that's overly resonant or responsive. When you do this on a couple tracks, you'll learn how to do this really fast, but you're looking for any problem frequencies, because if you don't eliminate it in the mix, trust me, it'll be amplified 10,000 times on the master. You want to get rid of anything that you don't want in the mix. I repeat that process several times, and once I've found all the problem frequencies, I notch them down, probably by about 4 to 6 dB to get rid of them. The next step in my chain is an MClass compressor. Now the compressor, a lot of times people really have no idea what a compressor does and how to use it. The simplest way that I can explain the way that I'm using a compressor is I want certain things to be in the front of my mix and I want certain things to be in the back of my mix. You can't have everything in the front or everything in the back. So I usually set my threshold so that it reduces by about 4 to 6 dB. And then what I'm looking for, depending on whether I want it to be out front or further to the back, is I change the speed of my attack. So things like drums, or maybe I want the bass to be more up front or a lead vocal to be more up front, I'm going to leave the attack very slow. Slow attack means it's going to hit faster and kind of be more in the front. Maybe it's percussion that I want to kind of sit more behind all the main stuff. I can do that just by speeding up the attack, and that's going to take the edge off of it and make it feel like it's further away. And remember, every decision that you don't make is going to be made for you by what you leave in the mix. So you need to decide, I want my snare drum to be up front, I want my bass to be in the middle, and I want my hand clap to be in the back. If you don't make those decisions, then there's not going to be space for everything to be in the same place in your mix, and it's going to be cluttered and cause all kinds of problems. So trust me, make a decision about what you want to be up front. The last device in my chain is so important. I did a whole nother video on it. It's called saturation. This is by far the most important device when it comes to making your drums pop or making anything stand out in your mix. If you've ever had a problem where you've got the drums popping and you can't get them to keep smacking in your mix, or when you do it's over compressed, this will help you out immensely. All those things together are what I use on each individual track. Now, I don't always use all of these devices. There's no rule that says I have to, but I like using this template so that all of it is there for me to use if I want. So it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. And that also helps speed up your mixing process so that you don't have to start from scratch on every track that you use. By tapping on the folder on the Browse Insert FX patch, and then I just go ahead and double click whatever mixing template I want to use. Remember that mixing is about a bunch of small things that come together. No amount of refills or VSTs can fix a bad recording. So do the best you can to get a great recording up front. Once you've got that great recording, don't forget the second step, which is to clean all the junk out of your audio. So get rid of anything that you don't want to be in there, because in the mastering process, everything that you leave there is going to be amplified. And lastly, don't forget to use that compressor and the saturation to place things forward and backward in your mix, so you're making all the decisions for the listener as to what's most important. Remember, anything that you don't choose is going to be chosen for you by the things you didn't do. What's in your mixing chain? I really want to know. Leave it in the comments, as well as your suggestions for future shows. And as of this recording, it's almost time for folks to pull out the Christmas music. I do have a Christmas record that I'd love for you to check out, and that's available on all your streaming platforms. I'm going to make a link to my default mono mixing plugin available in the description. If you like the way that I described all this and found it useful, by all means, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you know when I come out with my next video. I'm Samuel Prather. Hopefully I gave you a reason to create.